Julia.
Hi, Matilda.
Look, we're together. This is so exciting.
Yeah.
Guys, welcome to Matilda and Julia's Greatest Knits. Thank you for joining us. We are two knitters in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, and we started our podcast just as a way to get together and have a little chat about what we've been crafting and being inspired by. And we wanted to share that with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on today's agenda, this is our first episode back from our summer break, and we're going to have a little catch up about what we made in our time off. So that's what we've been working on. We're going to share an Instagram account that's been inspiring us. We are going to talk about a project, a fantasy project that we would love to make if only we had the time. And then we'll finish up with our favourite for three, which we'll share at the end of the show.
That's right.
So Julia, what have you been working on?
I have not been working on any of the things that I promised to be working on. As you do.
Yeah.
You make plans and then you go a completely different road.
Yeah.
I turned out to be working on writing down the pattern for this sweater that's going to be starting to test knit in just a few days. It's going to be called the Hella sweater.
The Hella sweater, yeah.
And it's a really nice swishy worsted weight sweater, raglan sweater, super easy, and there's just a little twist in it, but I designed it to be one of these sweaters that you can just get up in the morning and you just put it on any day.
Yep.
And you feel comfortable with it. So I wrote down that pattern. I started a project. I had this stitch that I wanted to use. It's like a garter stitch and then stripes, and I made this kind of like it's a vest.
It's beautiful.
I'm still developing it, so whenever I don't know how to proceed, I start something else, and that was as you do, and that turned out to be this little hat pattern that's going to be released next week, maybe already. I'm calling it the roll up. I don't know. I made it in the 80s when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
We had these
little roll up beanies,
and I remembered that I really liked the model.
Yeah.
It's a very classic model, and you can wear it wherever you like. You can also put it up like this. You can wear it on the back of your hat.
Yeah.
And
you were doing something cool with it before where it was looking very 20s.
Yeah, like a 20s thing. I also like that. I can't see my set properly, but some...
Yeah, like you had it
like a little Charleston thing.
Yeah, one side really high and one side really low.
Yeah.
Very cute.
You can shape it a bit according to the hairstyle of the day. Yeah. Which brings me to... So, I've been putting up all our episodes on my website, juliawilkinsdesigns.com, and I was looking through all our videos, and
we have a different hairstyle in every single video. We are, I think we're both addicted to just playing with our hair a little bit, huh?
The scissors.
Yeah.
And you dyed it also. You went through colors.
Little blonde phase.
Yeah. Long, short. What have you been working on?
I have finished my dress, which I'm very proud about. So I did a little spin.
Incredible.
This is just the second dress that I've made in my sewing renaissance. So I used to sew a lot when I was a teenager, and then I got probably a bit burned out with that and took about 12 years off from sewing, and then got a sewing machine for my birthday this year, and I've fallen back in love with the craft. And I especially love that the fabric that I've used is an old bed sheet that tore in the wash.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
how cool.
It was a very fancy bed sheet. It was a Calvin Klein bed
wow.
sheet.
Yeah, you don't want to throw
that
away.
I couldn't throw it away.
No.
So yeah, I upcycled it and I'm super, super happy. This is the penny dress by Collette Patterns.
Nice.
Plenty of challenges for me. I've never done, the shaped
collar,
the buttonholes, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm really very proud of myself.
I didn't recognize it as self.
Really?
So I don't know if that's supposed to be a compliment.
I think for me the part that gives it away is these really naff buttons, which make me so happy. They're very much like inner child satisfaction. These little hologram buttons.
Yes, very cool.
And then the other thing I have been working on is big garter squishy blanket. So maybe you can help me hold that out.
Yeah.
It's huge and so spongy.
Yeah.
Using up lots of leftover yarn from my stash, little restures.
It's so cool that you had all these fading colors.
I will admit that I bought this orange and the one next to it because I did not have any orange in my stash. And I had a donation of this yellow.
Nice yellow.
Yeah.
It's a hedgehog fiber.
I think this one's a Ching Fibers BFL, the high twist BFL.
Yeah.
But the rest, I think, are pretty much all from my stash. Some are hand spun, a few commercially dyed, a few hand dyed, and this is going to be a gift for a friend of mine who's getting married, and sadly I can't attend her wedding because it's in the US and it's still very difficult for us to travel. And
she's going to be really happy.
Yeah, I hope so.
Sweet of you.
And then besides that, I'm still slowly working on my Honey Bop cardigan. I fixed the big traumatic sleeve issue. But
Did you unravel?
I dropped down 20 stitches, about 40 rows, and redid the decreases and then picked them back up again. But after that, I need a little rest. So that one was on summer break as well.
Yeah, that's why you need several projects to work
totally,
on.
absolutely.
Right. What's your favorite feed at the moment? What's the feed that you like?
This has been a hard one for me this month because I've also taken a summer break from Instagram. I think I've maybe logged in a couple of times in the hiatus. But I have been going to museums again, and I had a lovely chat with one of the museum volunteers, and they recommended the Dutch artist Claudie Jongstra.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a fibre artist who works with naturally dyed fibres, mainly wool, but she also processes herself, and she does sort of sculptural things and big wall multimedia pieces. I think you know her really well as well.
Yeah, she has, if you're living in Amsterdam, you can have a look at the walls of the library.
Yeah, at the Oba.
Yeah. She made a nice piece, and I remember she had a museum exhibition in Leiden, which kind of closed because of COVID, but...
Damn.
Yeah.
Missed that one. But yeah, so Claudie Jongstra has been really inspiring to me in the last couple of weeks. How about you?
There's an account called Miriam First. She's a Dutch woman. I think she's also a theater maker. And one day she started to photograph her mother, who emigrated from Morocco, and because she always liked the specific style that her mother had, and she's a very, how do you say, like an independent thinker in terms of fashion. She has a very own style, and I just like, and she uses her mother as a model. So now they style her together also, and they inspire each other. And the feed is basically her photographing her mother and sometimes her kids. We have recently started a new subject which is called Fantasy Project.
Yeah.
A fantasy knit project. Stuff that we would be knitting if we had the time or the discipline. Probably more the discipline.
But my fantasy knit this time is a very new pattern. It's from one of my favourite designers, Neilan. and her pattern, the Wild Poppy Sweater, is my fantasy knit for September. It's got a beautiful lace and colour work yoke and cuffs, nice little cropped sweater, but it's maybe a little bit lighter than I want for my next sweater project, or even my next few sweater projects. I have a couple of light sweaters in rotation already.
Okay.
So I love it, but that one is sort of still in dreamland for me right now.
So my fantasy knit is the float shawl, and it's designed by Chasing Grabbit's Fiver. I'm going to put the handle down here.
Okay.
So we have it straight. And she's a hand dyer from Texas, and she made a pattern basically for the yarn that she's hand dyeing, and it's this yarn that's pooling. And I don't know if you have it, but these skeins always look gorgeous.
Such good skein appeal.
Yeah, because they're one color, and then they have a splash of color, and if you knit with it, it usually pools, and she calls it, I think it's designated pooling. So she used it in her pattern to create a pattern. So every time that the color comes up, it's going to she makes a certain stitch with it, and then it's going to pop out it's basically color work without having to knit color work.
Yeah, it's really clever, and I think actually a genius marketing idea for a dyer.
For sure.
Because these skeins are so gorgeous, but you just don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, and they turn out much more different than you can't use it for any sweater or for socks. Yeah. But I'm not a great shawl wearer, so
No?
it's probably not going to happen.
Fair enough.
So fantasy. We'll stay fantasy. Which brings us to our next subject, which is we always do a favorite 3.
Yeah.
And these 3 change every time, totally random, and this time they're our favorite bands.
But it's a little bit more specific than that, because favorite bands, I started overthinking this subject hugely.
Yeah.
So we narrowed it down, and we said sort of dreamy summer music, because I was really inspired by Paula Pereira's BR and Prom playlist, which is sort of great Brazilian music. It's one of my favourite things to listen to while I'm working. So we thought we'd have a go at creating our own little playlist.
Yeah, we've made a playlist, and we're going to put it up on... You're going to put it up on Spotify, and I'm going to put it up on Apple Music.
Beautiful. And it's going to feature our 3 favourites plus a couple of extras. So my 3 favourites are the Waifs, which is a WA band from Perth, where I'm from, and a band I've loved for most of my life. The particular song I've chosen for the playlist is Black Dirt Track. It's got a really nostalgic summer in the bush kind of vibe for me.
Nice.
Yeah. My second is another Australian artist. Her name is Emily Wuramara. She's an Aboriginal musician from Darwin, and one of the things I love about her music is that she sings in language and in English. I'm not sure which is her mother tongue, but it's really reason I chose it for the dream theme is because when I grew up, you really didn't hear many of the Aboriginal languages just in the media or in pop culture or anything like that, and I think that that's one of the really positive changes. And I dream about my country becoming more inclusive in that way, and being better at acknowledging and celebrating the long, incredibly rich history of the Aboriginal Australians. And she's a beautiful artist. And then my third is a classic. It's Joni Mitchell, who is one of my mum's favourite artists. So I grew up also listening to a lot of Joni Mitchell at home, and I chose the song California. And it just has a very summery vibe for me.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my favorite 3, and I can just fade into mine because, yeah, I think at this summer we listened a lot to Joni Mitchell as well. Her album Blue is turned 50, just like me. It's from 71, and it's a great album. So we've been listening to the whole album during our summer vacation. So and I really like her lyrics.
Yeah, my God, she's
yeah.
very poetic.
And so she's one of my top 3. Second is a singer-songwriter from the US. He's called Fruitbats, and he has a very sweet voice. He's also very good lyricist. Folky music, I call it, and he definitely fits into our dreamy playlist. And it's just for me a very magical sound. I like it a lot. So he's called Fruitbats, and the third is called Amazon, and they are a Swedish band. At the moment I listen to them a lot, and it's a woman, female lead singer. Yeah, so they're called Amazon. Yeah, and they're lovely also for our dreamy playlist. So check out our playlist. We'll put the link down here, and we'll change it now and then. Yeah, and I think that's it for today already. Yeah, thank you. It's been so lovely to see you face to face again. It is, yeah. And thank you for joining us. We're really thrilled to be back, and we'll see you next time. See you soon. Take care. Bye. Bye.